So welcome to the video for part 2 of Letitia's garden. So this time we're going to be using a slightly different mosaic crochet technique, which I call inset mosaic, and I'll explain to you as we go through why that is. So you should remember back from the introduction and doing your gauge swatches that most people are going to actually need a different hook size for the inset to the overlay, because generally people tend to work inset mosaic a little looser than the overlay. So if you remember back to whichever hook that you needed there to make sure that the edges of your work were nice and straight, go to that now. So for me, that's a 3.5mm hook, where I used a 4mm last time. Okay, one thing else you might also need for this one, because it can be a little bit tricky until the pattern is set to see where you are, so you really might find stitch markers very useful, just so you can mark the start or the end of the repeat, so you know exactly where you are. Okay, so we are continuing on actually with our CC2 colour, or XX2 if you're doing the city colorway, the same as we did last time. So we're going to just start this row with a standing double crochet, and like we said before, the first and last stitches, whether it's inset or overlay mosaic, the first two and the last two stitches of every row are always going to be a standard double crochet. Now for inset mosaic, we're actually going to be working into both loops of the stitches all the way through, so we're not worrying about back loop or front loop for inset mosaic. I'll show you how we create the pattern in a moment. So I've started there with that, but actually what we are going to do just to get started on this is do the whole row in double crochet. So standard double crochet all the way along, and then when you get to the end, one turning chain, which won't count as a stitch, and then do another row of standard double crochets all the way back. I've now done my first two rows of part 2, which is just the 2 plain rows of double crochet, and you can see I haven't actually cut off my yarn, so it's a little bit different to overlay mosaic, because we are actually going to be working 2 rows in each colour. So right side, then turning the piece and working back again, which means we don't need to cut the yarn at the end of every row. We will be able to carry it up the side here. So to join our new colour, which is going to be CC3 or XX1 depending on which palette you're following, all we're going to do, make sure you sort of leave a longish tail there, is just pull that through that loop there. So now we're going to do our turning chain. Okay, and our first 2 edge stitches, as always throughout the entire blanket, are going to be standard double crochet. So now we also, before we start the main repeat, we're actually, if you look at the written instructions in the chart, you've actually got 2 more double crochets to do. So through both loops for inset mosaic. I'll just tuck that under there, that's not going to go anywhere now. Now to create the pattern with inset mosaic, we are going to be leaving chain spaces on our first colour and missing some stitches, and then we'll fill it in when we do the next right side row. So we now, after our first 4 double crochets, we're going to need to do 2 chain, but we're only missing 1 stitch. So again, with inset mosaic, to stop your work bunching up, what we tend to do, or what we always do, is however many stitches you're missing, make sure you do 1 more chain. So we're missing 1 stitch, so we've got 2 chain, and then we will do 3 double crochets. So we're going to just do this all the way along. So that will be 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 3 double crochet. 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 3 double crochet. So just carry along until you get to the end, until you get to 1 stitch remaining, and then that will just be a double crochet in that last one, because say that's the edge stitches. So you carry on with that, and when you get to the end, I'll take you through the next row. Okay, so I'm now at the end of row 3. Let's do my turning chain. Whoops. turn round, and all we're going to do on the way back is basically work a double crochet in every single stitch. And where we had the chain spaces, you just do the same number of chains over the top. So they're all on this row, they're all 2 chain spaces. So that's all you're going to do. 1, 2, 3 double crochet, 2 chain above the 2 chains, 3 double crochet. So carry along all the way back until you get to the end, and you'll just end with 1 more double crochet on the end, and then we will start actually sort of making the pattern with the next colour on the next row. We're going to leave the CC3 attached just like we did on the last row, so no cutting that at the moment, and we're now going to go and pick up our CC2 colour. So we do it in the same way as we joined this last row. We're just going to pull that through there and then pull that down. Make sure you don't tug this too tight, just leave it so it's the same sort of height as that, as the side of the stitches there. It's all going to be covered up in the border, so don't worry about it. And then we just do our turning chain, pull that down nice and secure, and we can start the next row. So as we've said before, always, you know, the first 2 stitches are always going to be 2 double crochets. So now what we're going to do is 3 chain and miss 2 stitches, and you can see right after that we've got a chain space. So we know when we see a chain space, the only thing we can do is a treble, because you've got no stitches to work into. So this is now a treble 3 rows down, a TR3D, or if you're following the US version, it's obviously going to be a double crochet 3 rows down. So what we do, we just come down here and insert our hook into that stitch we missed 3 rows down. Make sure you bring your hook up like that so it's in front of those chains. What we don't want to work over the chains. If we do that, that's going to interfere, it's going to affect the look of our stitches from the front. It won't look so pretty. So like we said, make sure your hook is in front of those chains, and then just make a treble as usual. Okay. Oh, make sure you keep the loop on the hook. And this is another simple row actually. We're just going to miss these 3 stitches here. So we're always doing 1 chain more than the stitches we miss. So that's 4 chain, miss those 3 stitches, and then another treble 3 down. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, miss the 3 stitches, and a treble 3 down. Now don't be concerned that these are sort of don't seem to be attached to the row before, because when we use this colour again, it'll hold them in place, so that's fine. It's absolutely meant to look like that. So just carry on along until you get to the last 4 stitches. Okay, so carry on like that until you get to the last 4 stitches, and then I'll just take you through the end. I'm now at the end of row 5, and you can see I've done my 4 chain, and I'm missing these 3 stitches. Then we've got the chain space, so there are the 4 stitches that remain. So on some of the rows it can be a little bit confusing about how many stitches remain, but it's always the actual number of stitches on the previous row that are left, so we don't count any chain spaces. Okay, so 4 stitches remain. So we're now going to just do 1 treble 3 down, and now rather than doing 4 chain and missing 3 stitches, it's 3 chain, miss 2 stitches, and then that allows us to do our last 2 edge stitches, so the 2 double crochets in the end there. Okay, so chain, turn, and again we're still doing like we did on row 3 when we come back. It's the same for every single return row in Inset Mosaic, that you work double crochet in every stitch. So whether it's a double crochet like there, or hold on, we've got to do our 3 chain because we had 3 chains there, we're now going to do a double crochet into this treble. So it doesn't matter what the stitch was on the right side row. When you come to the wrong side on the way back, it's just a double crochet. So it's nice and relaxing. I always think that the return rows on Inset Mosaic is nice and relaxing. Do all your thinking about the pattern on the right side, and on the way back you just copy what you did before. So we then had 4 chain, and it'll be the 1 double crochet there. So we're now going to do that all the way across. 2, 3, 4 chain over all these 4 chain spaces, and a double crochet into the stitches. Okay, so just carry on till the end there, and then I'll take you through row 7 even. Almost at the end of row 6, and just a little reminder that we actually started this row with 3 chains rather than the 4. So we just remember to do 1, 2, 3 chains and then end with our 2 double crochets. So we've now finished with CC3 for a little while. So I'm just going to chop that off. Okay. So don't worry about actually fastening off, because it just makes it easier to carry on the way we have been with picking this loop up. So turn around, and just like so, we're just pulling that CC2 loop through there. So what we can do when we now do our double crochet, if you just want to just hold that secure for now, just work our 2 edge stitches over that, and that is not going to go anywhere. We'll secure it even better when we come to do the border, but for now that'll be perfectly safe. Okay, so we've now done the 2 double crochets for the edge stitches, and now, as I said before, whenever you see a chain space, you know you're going to have to do trebles. So we've got the 2 stitches we missed down there. We're now going to be doing a treble into there. And as I said, make sure that hook is in front of the chains. 1, 2. So that is now sort of working in front of those chains. It's securing, it's kind of holding this all in position, but now we're actually going to do a double crochet in there anyway, so it's all locked in, all nice and secure. So just go along, working 1, 2, 3 trebles, 3 rows down, followed by a double crochet in there. So nice simple row. 1, 2, 3 trebles, and then a little double crochet into there. So carry on the row like so, and then so when you come back it'll be a really easy row, because obviously there's no chain spaces to worry about, so you'll just be doing double crochets all the way back. So I will see you when we are ready to start row 9. I've come back again at the end of row 7 just to show you what I meant about the stitch count remaining. So at the end of row 7 it says you repeat the 1 double crochet, 3 trebles, 3 down until you get to the last 3 stitches, where you might think it should be 5 stitches, because we had, if you look at the chart, there's basically 5 boxes there. The reason it's 3 stitches is we've got 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then in between there, where these 2 trebles are going to go, it's 3 chains, so we don't count the chain spaces. I did think about counting the chains, but then that confuses it, because then you'll have one too many. So always when I say to do to the last however many stitches, it will be the physical number of stitches left on that previous row. Okay, so we're now just going to do what it said to do once you get to the last 3 stitches, which is 1 double crochet, 2 trebles, 3 down, and then our usual 2 double crochets at the end for the edge stitches. Okay, so now you can do your turning chain turn around and work a row of double crochet all the way back, like I said, and now I definitely will meet you at the start of row 9. So row 9 is where we start to get the proper fountain pattern worked. So, and this is where it could be very, very useful to use your stitch marker. So make sure you've got one stitch marker for each repeat, because it's a 24 stitch repeat, so it's very easy to kind of lose track of where you are. So obviously I'm only doing the runner, which is only 53 stitches wide, so it probably won't be too bad, but you will probably really be thankful for those if you're doing one of the larger blankets. So now we are going back to our main colour. So we're going to join that just like we did before by pulling it through that loop, and then basically do our turning chain, keep that nice and taut there, and then we're just going to work our 2 edge stitches over the top of that end to hold that nice and secure. So now before we start our actual repeats, we've got 3 chain and we're going to miss 2 stitches. So now we are starting our first repeat. So we've missed the 1, 2 stitches. We've now got 2 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch. Now that is in square brackets, so you need to then look at the word after that to tell you how many times you need to do that. So that says twice, so I've just done 1, 2 double crochet, 2 chain, missed 1 stitch, so we've got to do another 2 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch. So that is that bit done. We've now got some more square brackets which say 1 double crochet, 4 chain, 3, 4, miss 3 stitches, and we've got to do that twice. So we're missing the 1, 2, 3 stitches, then we've got 1 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4 chain, miss the 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 double crochet there. So when you break it down it's really easy, but it can be a little bit confusing when you first look at it. So now more of the square brackets. This time we're starting with 2 chain, so we'll be missing 1 stitch, and then we're going to do 2 double crochets, and we've got to do that twice. So that's 1, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 2 double crochets. So that's our third lot of square brackets there. Now you'll see, if you're looking at the written instructions, the little hashtag symbol. You can ignore that until you get to the end. So when you're on that very final repeat, then you'll need to look at the hashtag. But for now, we're just going to completely ignore that. So after that, it says 4 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4 chain, miss 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3 we're going to miss. So what we're now going to do, because that's the end of our first repeat, that's when we pop our little stitch marker in. So we're missing 1, 2, and that's the 3rd stitch we'll be missing. So that is where I'm going to pop my marker. So we now know that's the end of our first repeat, and we can start again where the asterisk is. So that says 2 double crochet, 1, 2 double crochet. So we're back to that first lot of square brackets on the row 9 instructions. 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, do that twice. So 2 double crochet, 1, 2, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch. Now we move down to the next line, which is in a different set of square brackets, and we've got 1 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4 chain, miss 1, 2, 3 stitches. So then we do that again. 1 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4 chain, miss 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then we've just got another double crochet there. Okay, so now the written instructions move on to the next row. So we've got 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 2 double crochet, and do that twice. So 1, 2, miss 1 stitch, 2 double crochet. So this is now where you can see we've got that hashtag. We can't actually do 4 chain, miss 3 stitches because we'll be too close to the end. So what you now do, if you look, the instructions say you end that there, so we'll end the repeat there, and we're now going to do 3 chain, 1, 2, 3 chain, miss 2 stitches, and then we've got space for our last 2 edge stitches. Okay, so obviously if you're doing a larger blanket, then it'll be a few more repeats before you get to that bit, but hopefully that will make sense. So now we'll just might as well do the return row together. So we've got turning chain, and then remember it's double crochet in every stitch and a chain over every chain. So we had 3 chain there, double crochet, 2 chain and 2 double crochet. So yeah, if you want to carry along the row like so, and then see you to start row 11. So I'm now at the start of row 11, and I've already picked up my CC3 yarn and done the 2 double crochet edge stitches. So now if you now look, we've now got to do another 2 treble 3 down again, because you can see those chain spaces, you know you've got to do that anyway. Okay, so now we're going to start the main repeat. So we've got more square brackets, so you've got 2 double crochet and 1 treble 3 rows down. We're going to do that twice, so 2 double crochet and then 1 treble there. Okay, so we've now done that bit. So we've now got 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, which is just all on its own there, and then we're going to fill in this gap with our 3 treble 3 down. And then we've got double crochet on top of that one, another 3 treble 3 down there, 2, 3, so we now 2 chain and miss this stitch, and we've got, going to now repeat 1 treble 3 down and 2 double crochet. Do that twice, so 1 treble 3 down, 2 double crochet, and we've now got the little hashtag again, so we know we can ignore that because we're not at the end of the row yet, and we've now got to do the last bit of this repeat is the 3 treble 3 down. So 1, 2, and we'll just take that out there before we do the stitch. So we know we're at the end of our first repeat. Just do that treble 3 down in there, and then what we can do, if we just pop that back in there again, it's going to be easier to keep a track of our repeats. Okay, so we're now starting again. So we've got 2 double crochets and 1 treble 3 down, twice, double crochet, treble 3 down, and then we've got 2 chain, going to miss this stitch, and we've got 3 treble 3 down. Nothing else it can be because you've got no actual stitches there. 1, 2, 3, double crochet, 3 trebles, and then we've got 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, and then we've got 1 treble 3 down and 2 double crochets. We've got to do that twice. And now we come to that hashtag, and because I'm at the end of my row, I'm going to pay attention to it. If you're doing the wider blanket, obviously keep going till you get to this stage. So you should see there it says to last 2 stitches. So again, there are going to be 4 boxes on the chart, but there's actually only 2 stitches remaining. Okay, so we're now going to finish up with 2 trebles, 3 down, 1, 2, and as always we're going to end with 2 double crochets. Okay, so we've now done probably the trickiest row there, but say if you keep using your stitch markers you should be absolutely fine. So just do your turning chain and work the stitches as set on the way back, which, as we've said before, is a double crochet in every stitch and a chain to match every chain. Okay, and I will see you to do row 13. So I've now picked up my MC yarn again at the beginning and done the first 2 little edge stitches there, and you see I also actually moved my stitch marker up one, so it's now still on the last row, so we know that is the last stitch of our first repeat. Okay, so after those double crochets, the 2 double crochet edge stitches, we've got 3 chain, missing 2 stitches obviously, and we're now going to start the formal repeat. So we start with 2 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, and then 3 double crochets, 2, 3. So we've now actually got to a chain space, so we know we're going to have to do a treble there, so treble 3 down to fill that in. Now we have got 2 double crochets, 4 chains, 2, 3, 4, which must mean we're missing 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then we've got the 2 double crochets and obviously a treble there because there's nothing else we can do. Okay, so now we've got 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 2 double crochets, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 chain, miss 3 stitches, so we can actually leave that stitch marker where it is because we're missing all of those stitches. Don't know if you can hear that, but the ice cream van is outside. I won't be rushing to get one because I'm busy doing this. So we have got now starting the second repeat again with 2 double crochets, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 3 double crochets. Oh, not chains. 3 double crochets. Then we've got a treble 3 rows down, 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, 2 double crochets, 1 treble 3 down, then we've got 3 double crochets, 2 chain, 2 double crochets, and because I am at the end of my row, you see we have actually got 4 full stitches. There's no confusing chain spaces, so that will also be on the chart. It will also be 4 boxes, but yeah, we've now got to our last 4 stitches, so it's 3 chain, miss 2 of them, and then the double crochet in the last one. So yeah, you'll just do your turning chain, turn round, and as always for the return rows, it's just a double crochet in every stitch and chains over every chain. So where you've got 4 chains, do 4 chains. So I will see you ready to start row 15. So I've now just picked up my CC3 colour and just done the first 2 little double crochets for the edge stitch. So we're now gonna, as always when we see the chain spaces, we know we've got to do the trebles into these missed stitches. So just start with those 2 trebles 3 rows down, and now we're ready to start the main repeat. So that starts with the 2 double crochets here, and then another treble 3 rows down. So now what we're going to do is 3 chain, which obviously means we're going to be missing 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet in there, and then we've got another 4 chain, 3 4. We're going to miss these 3 stitches, and then we've got a little run here of 3 trebles 3 down. Three. So now we've got 4 chain, 2 3 4, miss another 3 stitches, 1 double crochet, 1 2 3 chain, miss 2 stitches, and then a treble 3 down. Okay, so then we've got over here, we're now in the middle of the trellis, where we're going to do another 2 double crochets, and then the last 3 stitches of the repeat trebles here. Okay, to just take out my marker there. We know we're at the end of the repeat because we've just taken the marker out, so we're going to finish that off, another treble, and just pop that in there again. Okay, so now start the second repeat. We've got our 2 double crochets, another treble, and then we had 3 chain, 2 3, missing 2 stitches, 1 double crochet, 1 2 3 4 chain, miss these 3, and now we're doing like the sort of plinth of our fountain here. So we've got the 3 trebles for that, another 4 chain, 3 4, miss 1 2 3 stitches, and a double crochet, 3 chain, miss 2 stitches there. Whoops. So we've got another 2 double crochets, and this is where I didn't mention the hashtag, but that's where the hashtag is now in our pattern. So we know if you're at the end of the row like I am, what you do, you now skip the little bit after that hashtag and just do that last little bit. So you've got 2 stitches remaining. Remember, we don't count the chain, so there's 2 stitches remaining, and when you get to that, you're going to do your 2 trebles, and finally your 2 double crochets to finish. So there we go, that is row 15. So you just want to go ahead, do your turning chain, go back doing your double crochets excuse me, in every stitch, and a chain over every single chain. And I think you should be able to do rows 17 and 18 on your own as well, and I will come back and do row 19 with you. Your work should be looking like at the end of row 18, and I've just now picked up my CC3 again and done those first 2 edge stitches. So, and then again we've got the 2 trebles there into those mid stitches, and now we start our repeat. So we're going to start with 4 chain this time, 3 4, which means we're going to be missing 1 2 3 stitches, 1 double crochet, and we've got 5 chain, 4 5, so we're going to be missing 1 2 3 4, and then we've got a double crochet there before we now do our 3 trebles into these missed stitches, 1 2 3, oops, double crochet. So we've then got 5 chain, 3, 4, 5. We're missing 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, and then a double crochet, and then 4 chain, miss these 3 stitches, and then we're going to fill in with our sort of, it's like a pillar between the 2 trellis arches, I suppose, in the middle there. So we now know we are at the end of our first repeat. There we go. Oops. Pop that in there again so we keep a track. And then you should be able to now just repeat that across as many times as you need to till you get to the last 2 stitches, which will be these 2 here, and then you're going to do your 2 trebles, 3 down, and your last 2 double crochet, and then say as usual just do the return row exactly as usual, your turning chain, and then match all the stitches on the way back. So double crochet in every stitch, chain over every chain. And then if you do rows 21 and 22 as well, and I'll meet you when we're going to start 23. Okay, so I've just now done row 22, and I thought actually I'll just show you the back before I turn around and we do row 23 together. So what you should be able to see, I'll just take my hook out of there, is this is where all the little chains are on the back. So you'll see both inset and the overlay do have a stripy back, but you can see the difference. Hopefully there's more sort of bumps on the back where the chains are on the inset mosaic parts, whereas for the overlay parts you actually get, like here you can see where we've got like the backs of the hyacinth flowers, so you can just see they're sort of narrower stripes. Pick up my XX3 and do those 2 edge stitches. So there we go, there's the front. So we're now going to start before the main repeat, as we've been doing all along here, with our 2 trebles in these missed stitches. And now we've got 3 chains. Going to miss 2 there, 1 double crochet, then we've got 4 chain, so we're obviously going to be missing 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then we have got 2 double crochets, and then we have got our 5 trebles here in these missed stitches. And then to keep our fountain base there nice and symmetrical, you know the next 2 stitches are going to be like these, which are the 2 double crochets there. So we've kind of got a little bit of symmetry in the middle there. So we've now got 4 chain, miss 3 stitches, 1 double crochet, 3 chain, miss 2 stitches, and 3 double crochets to complete our first repeat. Now you may find that now the pattern is taking shape. I mean, I don't think I'll be using the markers anymore, because I can see now, the pattern's taking shape, that you know this sort of, like I say, this pillar between the arches there is the end of the repeat. Okay, so we're now going to finish up. I'll just do that last treble there. So, oh dear, let's try that again. Treble, brilliant. So again, just repeat that across the row, and when you get to the end, remember you've just got the 2 trebles 3 down at the end rather than 3, and then your edge stitches, and you know what to do on the way back now. So yeah, if you want to do that and the next couple of main colour rows as well, and then I will see you to do the next row. This is what we should be looking at the end of row 26. So we're almost finished this sort of base of the fountain now. This is actually just going to be the last couple of rows for this part in our CC3 colour. So as always, I've just picked up picked up my CC3 and done those first 2 edge stitches. And as always on this pattern, this part here, we're going to start with our 2 trebles in those missed stitches. So now on row 27, now we are going to start our main repeat with our 3 chains. There's 2 stitches, and then we've got 4 double crochets. So this is like the bowl bit at the top of the fountain. So now we've got to fill in where we've got these chains there with 4 trebles. 2, 3, 4, double crochet there, another 4 trebles, 3, 4, and then 4 double crochets, 2, 3, 4. We've then got 3 chains, gonna miss these 2 stitches, and finish our repeat with our 3 trebles on this pillar here. Okay, so if you want to just carry on, say complete this row 27 here, and as always, you know what to do on the way back, with matching all the stitches and the chains. And then when you do get to the end of row 28 back here, you will be able to cut your yarn off. Just cut it off, leaving about 4 inches, 10 centimeters, and then you can do the next couple of rows of the main colour as well. And then when we come back, we will be starting on the water for the fountain. I've actually just come back just briefly at the start of row 29. So I've cut off my CC3 colour there, and just a little reminder, for security purposes, when you just do these first couple of stitches on row 29, just catch that in there in those first couple, and just keep it nice and secure till we properly secure them and weave them all in at the end. Okay, so yeah, carry on with row 29 and 30, and then we'll start with our lovely blue colour for the water. This is what your work should be looking like after row 30. So you can see we've now completed the sort of structure of the fountain. We're now going to add the watery bit at the top. So that means joining our CC6 colour, which for me is this lovely can. So I'm just going to pull that through, let's say about a 10 centimeter 4-inch tail there, and like we did when we just we'd fastened off there, we're just gonna got an off chain, and we're just gonna make these first couple of edge stitches over that tail just to hold it in place till we properly secure it at the end. Right, okay, so we now start just the same as we did here. We're carrying on with the pillar between the fountains. So we've got our 1, get out of the way, 2 trebles, and now we start our repeat proper. So that will be 3 chain, which obviously means we're going to be missing 2 stitches, 1 double crochet, then 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet, 4 chains, 2, 3, 4, miss 1, 2, 3, and then we have got 2 double crochets, and we know we're going to have to do a treble there because we've come up to a chain space, and then another 2 double crochets, then we have got 4 chains, 3, 4, miss 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet, 2 chain, 1 double crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, miss the 2 there, and we finish our repeat with our 3 trebles. So yeah, if you want to carry on along as usual, do the return row, and then do your 2 following main color rows, and I will see you when we are ready to start row 35. So this is what we are looking at after row 34, and I've just got started at the beginning of row 35 with my 2 edge stitches and those first couple of trebles in those first 2 missed stitches there. So I'm now ready to get started on the first pattern repeat. So we're now going to start here with 4 chain, 3, 4 chains, which of course means we're missing 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then we've got 1 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch. So got that little bit there. Then we've got, so these are little sort of water droplets from the fountain here, and we've now got the sort of the main middle bit of the fountain coming up. So we've got the double crochet there, and now we're going to do 1 treble, 2 down, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch twice, so that was 1 treble, 2 down, so that's 2, and then we have got 1 treble, 2 down, and a double crochet, because again we're keeping this all nice and symmetrical. Okay, so now we're going to do I've actually done the first bit of it. We've got 1 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch. We're doing twice, so we've got 1 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, then another double crochet, then 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, miss 1, 2, 3 stitches, and we've now come to those last 3 trebles of our first repeat. Okay, so again, just carry on along, repeating that, remembering that the end will be ever slightly different because we're not going to have the 3 trebles here, we're just going to have 2 to even up our pattern. Go back, do your return row, and you know the drill for that by now, and also the next couple of main colour rows, and I will see you to start row 39. Okay, so I've just now got started on row 39 with my 2 edge stitches and these 2 little trebles, 3 down before the main repeat starts, so that's what you should be looking at now. So we're now going to start actually with 5 chain, 4, 5, which obviously means we're missing 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, and then we have got 1 double crochet, and now the next little bit will be done twice, so we're going to be repeating 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 treble, 3 down. So that's the first repeat of that. So we have now got 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 treble, 3 down. So now we have got, remember we're now going to be going back the other way symmetrically, so you know the next one actually is going to be 1 double crochet, then we have got 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 treble, 3 down, and 1 double crochet. So now we have 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet to give another little water droplet there, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains, miss the 4 stitches, and then we're just gonna finish our first repeat there with the 3 trebles. So again, just repeat that along to the end of the row, remembering you'll only have the 2 trebles when you get right to the end. Do your return row, do the next couple of main colour rows, and I will see you to start row 43. So I've now just started row 43 with my 2 edge stitches and these initial 2 trebles as we've been doing all along. I'm now going to do something slightly different at the top there. We're now going to start to form our sort of trellis archway to go over the top of the fountain. So we're now going to start, rather than the chains that we've been doing for ages, we're actually going to start, I'll repeat, with 3 double crochets. And we've got 4 chain, so we're obviously missing 1, 2, 3 stitches. Then we've got 1 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1, 1 double crochet, 1 treble 3 down. Then we have got the 2 chain, I'm going to miss that stitch, and then 1 treble 3 down, 1 double crochet, 2 chain, miss 1 stitch, 1 double crochet, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 chain, miss 1, 2, 3, and then we've got 3 double crochets before we get to our pillar between the arches. So there we go. So now, as same as ever, we end or repeat with 3 trebles in those missed stitches. So there we go, that's our first repeat there of row 43. So carry on as we've been doing, carry on to the end of there, remembering you've only got the 2 trebles at the end. Do your return row and do 2 main colour rows, and then we will do row 47 together. Okay, so we're getting towards the end of our watery bit of the fountain now. So I've just started row 47 with the usual 2 edge stitches and the 2 trebles there. So we start our main repeat, 2 double crochets, 1 treble in the missed-stitched 3 rows below, and then 3 double crochets. So we're now extending this trellis towards the middle of the fountain. So we've now got 5 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and miss 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. So we've now just got a final little bit of the water from the fountain right in the middle there. So 5 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, miss 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have got 3 double crochets, 1 treble, 2 double crochets, and then we complete our first repeat with the 3 trebles. Alright, so see hopefully how the pattern has really come together now. So usual drill, complete that row and do the return row, which is obviously just matching all the stitches as we've been doing all along, and then do your 2 main colour rows, and I will see you back to start row 51. Almost finished now with the trellisy bit around our fountain. So I've just now started row 51 with the 2 edge stitches and those first 2 trebles. So I'll now just carry on. So the repeat now starts with our 2 double crochets and 1 treble. We do that twice. So another 2 double crochets and 1 treble. Then we've got 1, 2, 3 double crochets and 4 chain, 3, 4. So we're going to be missing the 3 stitches there, and then 3 double crochets, 1 treble and 2 double crochets, and again, and then end that repeat with the 3 trebles. Whoops, 3 trebles as usual. So there we are. So yeah, as we've been doing, carry on, complete that row all the way across and do your return row and the next 2 main colour rows, and we'll have then finished with the main colour for this part, and we will do row 55 together. So I've now finished with my main colour for this part and cut the end off. So just as usual, when you've got a sort of a loose end, I'm just going to work over that in my first couple of edge stitches. And then this is a really nice easy row because we're just going to be working either trebles where we've missed the stitches before, or the double crochets. So there's no chains to worry about on this one, so it's a nice straightforward row. So at the end of that there'll be no spaces, and then just go back, do your return row, which will just be plain double crochets. And then the following pattern is just a little sort of zigzag there to finish off this part, which is only a 4-stitch repeat. So I'll just come back every couple of rows and just show you what it's meant to look like. But basically, that is the end of part 2.